Hey everybody, this is Dream, and this is going to be my breakdown for the FanDuel slate here on the 24th. We have an 8-game slate, so we have a pretty good solid set of players and available today. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I do, though, can you please like and subscribe? I really do appreciate it. With that said, let's get into the players themselves. So for point guard, we have Ben Simmons. He's at $6,400. He seems a little bit too cheap over here on FanDuel, and he has some good upside here because most of his points come from rebounds and assists. He really doesn't score a lot, so you do have to temper that a little bit, but he still looks like an interesting option here. At shooting, another guy, Jamal Murray, he's been playing pretty well in his 2 games. The only question is if he's going to play around 28 minutes or not. If he does play, then he will definitely be somebody I kind of like at this minimum price point. Kyle Lowry looks in a solid price point here, especially with Oladipo out. He's been playing extremely well so far. Then Trey Jones at $5,400. He seems fairly priced for this matchup with Minnesota. He's been playing solid so far this season, and he has some good upside in this one. Devin Vassell, he's still pretty fairly priced for his matchup here against Minnesota, but I do expect a little bit of regression over the season. But he's started the season off really good, and they really don't have too many options other than Keldon Johnson and him, and so they're going to have to keep going at him regardless. Jalen Green, as long as Tate is out, he looks like he's in a good price range for him to pay off today. Though there is a little bit of risk since some of the other guys are going to be back, like Gordon, for them. Anthony Edwards looks like he's priced pretty fairly on this particular slate. He's starting to play pretty well, so I look for him to be a good option today. Desmond Bane, as long as Brooks is out, he should be a great option. But Brooks is questionable, so we do have to consider that. Then Colin Sexton, he looks like that his price point is already up, which is a little bit disappointing, but he's still in a good enough price zone where if Conley is ruled out, and he should be a solid play here regardless. At small forward, we have Franz Wagner, who's been playing pretty well so far. His floor is high and his ceiling is low, though. So you do have to, you're not going to break the bank with him, but he's still a pretty solid option at this price point. Malik Beasley, he's got upside if Conley is out as well, but we do need to check the lineups and expected minutes once those things come out. Jimmy Butler, he's been playing pretty well since Oladipo is out, and his price point here on FanDuel is pretty good, so I do like him in this matchup. Kevin Durant looks fairly priced over here on FanDuel. His price is pretty low for what he typically is, and he hasn't had a big breakout game yet, but he has been hitting around 45 to 50 fantasy points, so it's just a matter of time before he has like a 70-point game, and he has a nice matchup today, so I'd look for that potentially to happen. Jaylen Brown has been playing really solid. I don't love him, but he's got a good floor, and he's been shooting the ball pretty well so far in 2 of the 3 games. And if he does shoot the ball well today, then he will definitely 5x easily. And then for Tobias Harris, his price point is pretty good here on FanDuel. He's going to get plenty of minutes. This is a matter of time for him to have a big game, and his floor is pretty high regardless as well. At power forward, Isaiah Jackson. Now, we do want to make sure he's starting to pay for him at this price point, but overall, he's going to get 20 to 25 minutes, so you do have to temper your expectations a little bit, but he is a block-heavy guy, so he does get several blocks so far in most games. Then Santi Aldama for Memphis. Now, assuming that the injury situation stays the same, he's going to be in a good spot here. Obviously, the Dallas game tempered everybody's expectations on Memphis, but overall, that was a back-to-back game, and they didn't play very well, but I expect them to bounce back in this one. Michael Porter Jr., he's kind of got a low floor and a high ceiling, so you do have to he's kind of boom or bust in that aspect, but he's still an interesting option on the slate. Keldon Johnson, his price point is not ideal here as it is on DraftKings, but overall, he's still a good play with lots of upside because he's going to get lots of minutes, and he really doesn't have any downsides. And then Karl Towns, now his price point is just way too cheap here on FanDuel, but his production so far this season hasn't been great, which has led to that price reduction. It does make him playable, but he's still pretty risky because his role has changed pretty big since Gobert's here, and so I don't really know how to roster him, even though his price point is really good. But he's still somebody you could take a flyer on because he still has massive upside as a result. In center position, we have Kelly Olynyk, who's been playing extremely good for the Jazz the last 2 games, playing 34-plus minutes. Obviously, we want to make sure he's playing that many minutes, but if he does, he seems like a really good price and very good lock option for this particular slate. Alperen Sengun, now, if he starts, he vaults to must-play status at $5,500, but the only real risk with him right now is the minutes that he's playing coming off the bench. He's been playing better than most of the other guys, so I do like him though. Jacob Podol for the Spurs. He's been getting overlooked a lot, but he does have a lot of upside in this matchup. Joel Embiid, he's been playing pretty good so far this season, and Indiana doesn't have Miles Turner, and as long as that's true, Embiid should be able to smash here. And then Wendell Carter Jr., he's been playing pretty solid. His price is not ideal here on FanDuel, but it's pretty good, and he has a lot of upside on this particular matchup. So with that said, thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments, questions, or if there's any picks that you felt like I leave out, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.